Hello. In this video, we will be speaking about the print function and how we can use it to print a literal to the console. So if you remember, we have gone over a few different types of literals. Those were being integers, floats, and string literals. And of course, an integer is a whole number, a float has a fractional decimal, and strings are a sequence of characters surrounded by quotations. The primary way in which we output a text is using the built-in print function, as seen here. Each print function will output on a new line, and each print statement must be on its own line as well. So now let's go ahead and take a look at a few examples of how to print literals to a console. Alright, so once we are in our PyCharm IDE, we can go ahead and take a look at how to print these. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and do a print statement, or the print function, the built-in function there. And of course, we are outputting a literal, so we need no variable to be there. We need just the raw data that should be stored in a variable, however we don't have one. So let's go ahead and do our first literal type we spoke about, which is the integer. So that is just a whole number. It is no decimal, no quotation marks, just a plain whole number. So let's go ahead and type 13 in there. So 13 is our literal. It's the raw data that we are printing out. And so once we hit output, we'll see that our output is the data 13. So let's go ahead and change this to one of our other type of literals. We'll change it to a floating point number. And for this, of course, it is a negative or positive number that has a fractional value attached with it. So let's go ahead and do a negative. Let's switch it up. So it's negative 8.12. So we see we have the fractional part, therefore classifying it as a float in this situation. And let's go ahead and print this out. So we'll see that we have a float value or float literal as our value being printed out here. Then let's change this one more time. Let's go ahead and change our literal. And we'll just make it a string that says this is a string. And so now we have a string literal assigned inside the quotation marks here. And of course, one more reminder: when you're creating a literal string, it needs to be in matching quotation marks. It can be either single or double, but it does have to be matching. And so now that we have that defined inside of our print function, let's go ahead and print this one more time. And then we see that our raw data, the string literal, is being printed out. So that was how we defined how to create, how to print literals into the console. And so now you can go ahead and start practicing this on your own.